Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Office Hours. Thank you for joining me here. Welcome. Happy Friday. We'll get this show on the road here in just a moment. Welcome to Office Hours. If you are unfamiliar with Office Hours, these are pure Q&A, so I don't have any agenda for you other than to try and help out in any way I can. So if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments, and I will return to them generally in order here. And then I'm also going to drop a link that is a link if you want to come on camera and have more of a conversation with me. So if your question is more complex, needs some back and forth, needs some more context, needs to screen share, any of that type of stuff, you can use that link. You will come backstage here, and I'll give you a little warning before I bring you on camera, okay? So welcome again to Office Hours. Living in Montreal, that's awesome. Hello. No, that's okay. No problem. And Philip, awesome. Welcome. I will absolutely get to your question here in a moment. And I will also make sure that we are getting to questions inside of our community. Seen a lot of good activity in there lately, so I'm going to check and make sure that we answer those. And yes, awesome. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and get rolling here. Again, happy Friday. I hope you've had a good week. And you're looking forward to the weekend here. We got some beautiful sunshiny weather in San Diego, which is fantastic. Feels like San Diego, mid-70s, that type of thing. So I'm going to be out and enjoy it. That's for sure. All right, Philip, first question. Are the following GHL services also available for my clientele in Netherlands? Consolidation of various comm channels into one mobile app, chat widget, GMB chat that helps generate leads. Okay. In the Netherlands, Philip, I'm not sure, maybe it's Philippe, I'm not sure exactly the answer to this, but I can tell you my general experience in dealing with issues in Europe. So in Europe, you have very different SMS, text messaging conditions and laws and costs than we do here in the United States. And so each of these things that you are discussing has, oops, sorry, we got some light issue going on back here. Let's go and turn that off. Each of these features that you're mentioning here have a text component, an SMS component to them. And so I believe that you could still use them, but I think that they will be cost prohibitive in most cases. That seems to be the feedback that I hear from people, or not just cost prohibitive, but maybe even usability prohibitive, just because of the laws associated with how you can message somebody and things like that. So obviously you're going to know those things much better than I am. I just know that I hear this feedback a lot from people in Europe and a lot in Australia, New Zealand. So it seems that, yeah, cost prohibitive, exactly. It seems that, though, what a lot of people are doing successfully, WhatsApp, I'm sure you're very familiar that WhatsApp is, very popular outside of the United States. It's very popular inside the United States now as well, but I think much more commonly used outside of the United States. And so it seems to be that WhatsApp has become a pretty common and successful part of the solution in all this, and that HighLevel will have a WhatsApp interface that allows you to do a lot of the things that we normally do with SMS through WhatsApp. So I have, the only concern I have about that is that it seems like Meta changes their rules about exactly how you can interface with WhatsApp through an API. And so HighLevel just this week had a message inside of the app saying that certain features of the WhatsApp service were going to be discontinued or paused, at least for a period of time. I think it had to do with your ability to send WhatsApp templates, template messages. So, there's just going to be some limitations there. I do think, though, that generally these features that you're referring to, there are still ways to take advantage of just about all of these things. Again, it just may be that you're having a slightly different approach than I have in the United States. And so you're going to have to sort that out. And you mentioned that, these seem like easy to sell features. Yes, those are great features. Uh-oh, somebody's saying no sound. Is that true? Anybody else? Let me know if you're not getting sound. I should have done my mic check. I didn't do my mic check before I got started here. No, it seems like, Tanvir, that is your issue, it seems like. Let me just respond to him real quick. Tanvir. And just go ahead and let him know that. So, okay. I think that, Tanvir, that's because you're backstage. So anyway, thanks for letting me know, though. So I think, though, that, Philippe, there are other services that are just as easy to sell. And I do think that, again, you're going to find ways to still use most of these features. You're just going to have some workarounds that we don't have to deal with in the United States. So I hope that helps you. And, I wish that I could give you a Netherlands specific answer, but I'm not knowledgeable enough on that market to be able to do that. Okay. Where can I find the onboarding bootcamp? The onboarding bootcamp, Shane, is inside of the courses. So if you go to customer.servicesthatscale.com and you log in there, so customer.servicesthatscale.com, if you log in there, that is where you access our courses. And so if you have access to that course or to that bootcamp, it will be there. And I think it has been misnamed by my team. For whatever reason, they didn't put the word bootcamp in there. So it's like building a profitable onboarding system or something like that, but it doesn't say the word bootcamp. So my apologies for that, because it threw me off. I didn't see it at first when I went in there. Or courses.services@scale, that works. I think customer does as well, but anyway. And then if for any reason you're still having problems, just send an email to help@servicesthatscale.com and we will make sure and get you taken care of. Okay. help@servicesthatscale.com. All right. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. I believe that is Sean, right? Let's see here. Clayton says, how would you structure an affiliate deal when presenting your services to someone who's allowing you to present to their audience? Good question, Clayton. So typically what I do is I just do either some sort of flat percentage of recurring revenue or a one-time payout if somebody signs up as a customer. And I will typically let them decide which of those they would like to do, because some people just want more cash up front, for based on whatever their needs are. And then some people love the idea of, oh, wow, you keep, customers for years. Great. I'll take that recurring revenue. So you just want to make sure that you are, just make sure that you know your numbers. And so you know what percentage you can afford to pay out. If you're paying out recurring revenue, maybe it's something like 20%. If you're paying out a one-time, maybe you can afford to pay, this depends on your cash situation, but maybe you could afford to pay a few months worth of the deal up front. So let's say they brought you a $497 a month customer. You could pay them, $1,200 up front as a thank you. And the reason why that math would still be okay for you, if you know your numbers, generally to get a small business customer signed on, if you look at the total sales and marketing expense, you're spending between somewhere in $1,500 and a few $1,000s to bring on a new customer. So if you pay them 1,000 or 1,200 or something like that, that number, those numbers could still work out perfectly for you. So you just got to know your numbers, but typically it's one or the other there. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just letting them choose. The only other thing I would say to that, Clayton, is you could decide if you also wanted to give them some incentive just for the leads, right? So they bring you, they bring you 100 leads from their list, from their community, and the realities of the sales cycle are, it could be months before even a very interested customer or a very interested lead, it could be months before they actually sign on and become a customer. But what I have found is that, if somebody is sending you leads like that, it's a really good idea to have some sort of thank you built in before they ever become customers, just to keep their attention and incentivize them to continue thinking of you and continue sending you leads. So if you looked at, let's just say, the cost of generating, decent quality leads on Facebook with Facebook ads, or Google ads, at a bare minimum, you could be looking at $25 a lead. And that's for somebody that's probably relatively cold. And you could spend $150 or $250 for somebody that's actually like booking an appointment with you or something like that. Or giving you like full contact information. If you were generating leads, B2B leads through Google AdWords, several $100s a lead, very, very common as a minimum. It can go way up from there. So if you were, let's just say this person, promoted your webinar, shared your webinar, and they got 100 people from their list to sign up, could you give them $1,000 as a thank you and still probably be way ahead on that deal? Yeah. And the lifetime value of 100 leads coming your way that were endorsed from somebody, just to say, hey, thanks, I appreciate it. That could go a long way. And you should easily be able to get ROI out of that $1,000 investment, over time with those leads, as long as they were in any way, actually qualified. So up to you to think about how you want to do those things, but that's a handful of ideas for you that are all, that have all been successful for me. Okay. Can you time release content or sections on a web page so it's visible, hidden for a specific date range? I don't know about with HighLevel. Actually, I've never tried that with HighLevel. You can certainly do it. Well, actually, I think that the answer is yes. You can do that with countdown timers through HighLevel. 90% sure. I haven't really messed with the countdown timers feature yet, but I'm assuming that, typically with countdown timers, one of the benefits of a countdown timer is that you can make some sort of change happen once the countdown ends, right? So you get down to the end of the countdown and I can make the buy button disappear or something like that, right? So typically that's how that's done, is you have a section that you would then hide at the end of the countdown, or you have a section you would make appear at the end of the countdown. So theoretically you could do that and you could just hide the countdown timer. So it doesn't have to be a visible element, on the page. And you could use that. So that's a possibility. Like I said, I just haven't played with HighLevels countdown timers enough to know for sure is that the way it works. But my assumption it is, because every countdown timer I've worked with, that's the way it works. On WordPress, you can certainly do this in a number of different ways. There's a variety of different plugins out there in terms of countdown timers, more like media publishing tools. So for like their San Diego, I can have a post show up on the site at a certain date, I'll have a published date. And then I could have it, disappear after a certain date as well, automatically. So, there's all kinds of solutions on WordPress for this. So I'm assuming that you can find what you're looking for sure. Thank you everybody for the feedback on the sound. That's awesome. AT, good to see you, sir. Carlos, good to see you. Thank you, Chuck. Good to see you. Tanvir, you want to come on? Oh, maybe he's frozen back there. You want to come on, Tanvir? Just give me a thumbs up if you do. Not sure you can hear me now. Yeah, he's saying yes. Okay. How's it going?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're the master control person, puppeteer. Okay.
How's it going?
I'm good, Mike. Thanks for taking my question.
You bet. Why don't you go for it?
Uh, yeah. So sorry, I hear an echo. But okay. So here's my question. Can you give some tips for new agency owners? The challenge that I've gotten into is everybody's interested, but no one's quite ready yet to sign up and pay for my services, or they don't have the marketing budget yet. It is very new. The stuff that I've been talking about with them, like chatbots or automations, and especially small and medium businesses. And that's also a challenge because it's new. I feel like I'm educating them, but they're not quite ready to take that next step, or they don't have the marketing budget. Or so, where can I get some quick wins for new agency owners like myself?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's a super common question, and it's very common right now. There's a lot of economic uncertainty. There's a lot of people freaking out about what's going to happen to their business and over the next 6 months or year. So there's going to be people that are just sitting on making decisions. And so that's always going to be the case. I think one of the most important things is don't let you use that as an excuse. I started Kutenda right at the start of a gnarly recession, and we grew like wildfire. And so the key to that is that you are making sure that you're positioning your services as in a handful of ways. One, as being incredibly cost effective. So with small businesses, you always want to be price sensitive, but with small businesses, when the economy is uncertain, you want to make sure that you're being as aggressive as you can on your prices. You still have to have healthy margins and everything, so don't cut to the bone, but you just want to make sure that you're being as aggressive as you can with your prices. Second thing is that you want to make sure that you are really stressing the beautiful thing about the services that we can offer is that you can stress both the ability to add new revenue and the ability to reduce costs. So in almost all cases, if you're talking to a business, you can show them with the combination of tools that you have with HighLevel and bringing new marketing strategies to their business that they're not currently taking advantage of, that they should be able to capture new opportunities and therefore ultimately new revenue, and also probably consolidate some costs. You have various marketing tools right now that you'd be able to get rid of those and have a less expensive single solution. So you want to look at how you can make your pitch from both of those angles, ideally simultaneously. So there's very little argument against it. And then I would say, the really, really big part of this, Tanvir, is prospect qualification. So if you are talking to somebody where none of that makes sense because they're not currently spending any money on marketing, they're not currently doing anything to grow their business, you're talking to a bad prospect. And now trying to convince them that they should be spending money to do some marketing is what I call a double sale. And I never do a double sale. And what I mean by that is the sale that I have to make is for you to do marketing with me. But if I have to also do the sale to convince you that you should be investing in marketing in your business, no matter what the economic conditions, if I have to convince a business owner of that, that's just wasting my time. That is something that you should be doing content marketing, and they should be reading your blogs and watching your videos, and they should be getting educated and sold on the reality of, if you're going to have a damn business and you're not investing in marketing, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So I don't want to ever have a sales conversation and waste my time in a sales conversation where somebody is not 100% sold that they have to invest in marketing. If I'm doing that, I'm wasting my time. So if you are talking to prospects that are not already sold on that and sold on being as competitive as they can be, that's time to move on. And so you got to keep on doing that content marketing and that educational based marketing, because that's how you
And that's
build that.
something.
Yeah, that's how you build that top of funnel with people who are educated.
Sorry.
We obviously have a delay. Go ahead.
What I was going to say, Mike, is there's that lag. So that's something that I've had to learn. I learned very quickly, actually, after a few pitches, because I'm always asking, okay, what's working, what's not, and I think you nailed it with the double selling. It's like I'm finding myself, I have to convince them to spend some money on marketing and then pay for the services, and there was a recent GoHighLevel masterclass, I think by Jason Ledbetter. I think that's his name. It was a great masterclass on his call booking funnel. He's a direct response marketer, and he's had his agency for a while, I guess. And I saw that recently, and he spoke about these different phases where you have clients, you have to segment them, right? Like it's their problem unaware, or they're unaware that they even have a problem, and he has these different segments. And so after these few meetings that I've had, I'm like, crap, like you're right. I shouldn't even be targeting these people.
Yeah.
I need to qualify them more, because, in the beginning you're very excited, right? You're like, oh, AI, I can do this for you and it works. But yeah, thank you for that. I feel I definitely have to filter and my prospects a little bit more.
Yeah, cool. And it's great that you've learned that already. And I would just add a couple of things to this. One is just being realistic about the nature of the sales cycle in this business. This is very rarely an immediate sale business. So there's all kinds of statistics out there about B2B sales, in particular, that if you have a full funnel of prospects, roughly 5 to 7% of those are buyer ready. And so you may have heard that phrase from Jason's webinar. Buyer ready means I've already gone through all of the awareness, I've looked at various alternatives, and I'm ready to make some decisions and spend some money. I'm just in the final stages of evaluating how I'm going to do that. That's 5 to 7%. So that's not a lot. So you need to understand that the rest of that market, just as you said, you are working through bringing them through the various phases, and that can take months, that can take years, depending on who you're dealing with. And so you just got to be realistic about that and make sure that you've got enough numbers in that pipeline that you can realistically expect, okay, I should be able to have 10 good qualified conversations this month that should result in 3 sales. And in order to do that, I need to have the numbers up above in my funnel to make sure that 5%, 7%, those 10 people, the math works. And then the final thing that I would say is that, in the early stages, it is absolutely okay to get hyper aggressive to get those first few deals on board. So those first few deals on board, if you've got to do hey, look, I think my services are really going to help you, but I understand you have some skepticism. And what I would love to do is make you an offer to provide my services at no cost to you for 60 days so that you can see the benefit. And then after 60 days, all I ask is that if you see the benefit, that you continue being a customer at my normal prices. But I'll take all the risk here, get everything set up for you, let everything, go to work here over the first 60 days so that you can see that benefit. You won't have to do that after a while, because you'll build up your credibility, your case studies, you'll build up trust. But in those initial deals, if you got to do that to get some momentum, get some experience, build up your confidence, build up the market's confidence, there is absolutely no problem with doing that. And I would recommend, to be to be aggressive, to break through that initial barrier of getting those first deals, just make sure that you structure it in a way, always structure it in a way that you're getting when you're giving. If you're giving 60 days of free services, make sure you're getting. I just ask that you be a customer our regular prices, and I would love a testimonial so I can share with the world, how it's worked, right? So just make sure that you're asking for those things so it's an equitable deal for you, but go for it to get those handful of first deals going. Make sense? Awesome. Thank you, Tanvir. I appreciate you. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's go up here. Sorry, just going up, trying to go in order. Okay, Chuck says, if we sign up with you, can you explain the snaps that we get and how easy to load your pre-made systems? How much time do we need to get set up for us or a client? Yeah, Chuck. So I really have two things, the R4 snapshot and the R6 snapshot. I have smaller snapshots that are segments of the R6, but let's just keep it easy. I've got the R4 and the R6. The R4 is for you to set up your agency sales process. Okay. You could install that and have your agency sales. I mean, if you know how to use HighLevel, I don't know where you're at with HighLevel. If you know how to use HighLevel, you can set up your agency sales process in a day with that. Just going through and, tweaking the custom values and things like that, and tweaking some of the content to make sure that it's set for you. But it's just, workflows and campaigns that are all just set up for you to sell your agency services. So super simple. The R6 is a much bigger service delivery snapshot. So it's got service delivery workflows and campaigns for all kinds of different scenarios. Birthday campaigns, reactivation campaigns, resell, lead follow-up, chase, what I call chase formula, follow-up sequences. It's just got all kinds of stuff. They are generic, as in they are not industry specific. So what I'm giving you is the structure of things. And then depending on the industry that you're working with or the particular customer that you're working with, you may say, I need 70% of this, 30% of this I don't need for this customer. And so you could decide that and, toss the 30% that doesn't make sense for that scenario. And then you're just going to go through and customize the 70. Depending on what you're doing, who you're doing it for, the extent of that snapshot that you're going to use, that could be something that you take, several days to do, because you're really building out like a pretty darn complete and robust marketing system for a business. Or, if you're just setting up a birthday campaign for a restaurant, that, people are just going to get on the list and get coupons on their birthday. I mean, shoot, you could set that up in 45 minutes or something like that. So it really just depends. But I think what's most important here is that you understand my approach. My approach is that through my R6, Chuck, I have broken down marketing into these 6, I think, very easily understood marketing activities, and then line them up with certain features and capabilities of HighLevel to say, hey, look, if you are trying to enhance the reputation of a business, you would do these things. If you are trying to enhance the readiness, these are the R's of R6, the readiness of a business, which is the ability to respond to new opportunities quickly, then you would use these features in these campaigns. Those R's are consistent across any business. I don't care if you're talking to a restaurant, a plumber, anybody else, right? How you then apply them, a restaurant versus a plumber, obviously the content of the messages is going to be different. And there could be slight tweaks as well in how you're going to use that workflow between a restaurant and a plumber. And so that's for you to know your customer. I can't know your customer as well as you can. And I am not designing workflows and snapshots just for the plumbing industry or just for restaurants or just for chiropractors. I don't have any interest in that. I think I personally believe those have limited value, because every customer, you're going to want to make sure that you're taking into account their individual needs and the services that you're offering and kind of lining these things up properly. And when you know how to do that with HighLevel and with an effective snapshot, it's just really not that difficult. So I hope that helps you, Chuck. I would say most of what you get from me is training on how to build a profitable, scalable business in this industry. It's training on that. It's tools and resources around that. To me, the high level stuff, even though wherever you're at in your journey, high level, I mean, that may seem like the most important thing or complicated thing or whatever, depending on your technical, expertise. The most important thing by far and away is that you understand your business model, you understand the metrics of your business model, and you understand how to manage your business to those metrics so that you are actually building a profitable, scalable asset that you can ultimately sell. That's more my area of expertise. I'm a business guy versus a tech guy. I like tech a lot, but I'm a business guy. And that's primarily what you're going to get from me, is how to do that. So I hope that helps you. Yeah, Philippe, I would go through GoHighLevel. Yes, I would go to HighLevel support and ask them questions specifically. I would also get into their community, Philippe, and ask your questions in their Facebook community, because no doubt there's people in Netherlands that can answer this question that already have experience for you. Okay. I'm offering review management. What's up, AT? It's good to see you, sir. As my foot in the door after 30 days, how do I approach upselling customers to the full marketing system? Great question. So AT, after 30 days, I would hope that you can demonstrate some success. So you can say, hey, look at the reviews that we've gotten you. They're posting now. Your reputation's improving. And then what I would do is I would get them on a call. I would walk them through some of that. Here's how things are going so far. It looks like it's going great. And then I would say, and I have a script for this, AT. It's in the programs if you're in there, but it generally goes like this. AT, we're 30 days into it. Here's this great data showing you the results that we've gotten so far. It looks like everything's going really well. Do you have any questions? No. Do you have any challenges that you're running into here and there? Awesome. Well, look, I don't know if you recall at any point seeing that we do have a more complete system for businesses like yours to cover these various aspects of marketing that are critical to growing your business. Your reputation and collecting reviews is an absolutely critical part of that, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to take just a few minutes of time and walk you through those other pieces so you can see some of the other capabilities that we could bring that I think that we could add a lot more value to your business. Would you be open to that? They ideally say yes. And you go through the presentation saying, here's our other capabilities. Here's why they work together to make sense. And then say, you're currently paying X for review management. We can get you upgraded to that full system of services for just X dollars more a month, which is going to be very high ROI for you, as I'm sure that you can tell, because you are currently not taking advantage of these opportunities to capture more leads or follow up with them more effectively or whatever it is. And that's what this system is going to do for you. So, and then just make them that offer, to upgrade. So it's as simple as that. And it's super effective because they've already now seen some success with your services, and you can pretty easily. I mean, if you have if you have my R6, if you're comfortable with a conversation about these various aspects of marketing that every business needs, and you can speak to that, it's very compelling to say, hey, look, we just took care of one piece of the puzzle, but we've got these other pieces of the puzzle, and it's not very much additional money at all for us to take care of those as well. Doesn't that make sense to do, right? And with any upsell, you're going to get whatever percentage of people that you're going to get to convert, right? And in my experience, that pitch with a satisfied customer, pretty darn easy to get 20, 25% of those people to upsell. And then those customers that don't upsell, you're just going to keep marketing to them you're going to keep on sending a newsletter to them saying, hey, here's this other capability we have. Here's the overall marketing system framework again, in case you've forgotten, with all these capabilities. And you're going to follow up with them every few months with an offer and say, hey, look, we'd love to get you upgraded to the complete system. Is now a good time? Just keep on trucking. Okay. Dawson says, sell. I love it. Chuck says, any risk losing SEO, website, or GMB? Do we keep WordPress pages where they are? Webhook all inside GoHighLevel. Pull select web pages inside. Bring it all inside GoHighLevel. Will the SEO stay as good? Chuck, I am not an SEO expert. However, the feedback that I have heard and I've personally experienced is that GoHighLevel's sites are just as SEOable as any other sites. Because what makes a site competitive in terms of SEO, particularly in small business land, right? Where it's not like we're competing against Amazon, for SEO. We're trying to compete with our other neighbor local businesses typically. It's all just fundamentals, right? Is the site built with current code that the search engines like? Is it structured generally properly? Do you have the right meta information on the pages, things like that? So it's really those fundamentals. And then it's keeping the citations accurate, and hopefully then consistently producing some sort of content on the site that the search engines love to rank. Now, that being said, all of this is changing very quickly in the world of AI. And so, who knows exactly how that's going to pan out here over the next 6 to 12 months. But I have not personally seen or heard anybody say, oh yeah, you just can't rank sites with GoHighLevel. It's not been my experience, and I haven't heard that. That all being said, if they have a WordPress site that they're happy with and it's ranked and it's doing well, I personally would not screw with that at all. I mean, why? You can do everything that you need to do with HighLevel on that WordPress site that you could do if it was a HighLevel website, right? So that WordPress website, you can still put the chat widget, you can still put the call tracking number, you can still put the lead capture forms, you can still run all of your follow-up sequences and automations, and you can still publish your reviews that are captured. So why mess with that? I would never, ever, ever, personally, ever take the risk of screwing with somebody's site. If they're happy with it, if it's ranking, if it's doing well, why mess with it? There's I don't see any good reason to mess with it. Okay. Hey, no problem, Clayton. Would you ever buy Neuralink? That's a good question, Dawson. Yes, I would. There are absolutely all kinds of scenarios where I would try Neuralink. And my guess is that 10 years from now, the idea of trying Neuralink or a similar solution will not seem uncommon at all. But today, if I were somehow, I had experienced, I don't know, spinal cord damage, and I had lost the ability to, use my arms and legs or whatever, like I would absolutely give it a try. It seems incredible. Yes, Sean, awesome. Mike answered the question, the onboarding bootcamp, which is great content. I want to make sure it's a key part of how I kick off. Awesome. Thank you so much. But your question is, when is a good time to kick off a membership site? I'm thinking straight off the bat for the customer to access my content that I will be creating, although I realize some or a lot of the content needs to be publicly available to drive traffic to my site. Yeah, that's no problem. So Sean, there's content that you want to publish publicly. Awesome. The membership site for your customers should be things that are going to help them as customers specifically. So a welcome video from you, a video explaining how to get support when they need it, a video explaining how to access certain resources that you have available to them, and then specific training on how to actually use the system that you're putting in place for them. So that could be, just like the core components of things that they're going to access. So say they're going to access the conversations tab, say they're going to be sending out email campaigns. So you should have some training in there saying, here's the conversations tab, here's how it works, here's why it's so stinking valuable. Here's how you go in and send a broadcast email, just like basic things like that that will help them actually use the system. I would think, depending on the type of business you're working with. If they have, a bunch of employees accessing the system, some videos that would help those employees get on board and get activated and use the system. So those are the types of things that I would put inside of a membership area for your customers that would be exclusive to customers. And I would make that available to them as soon as they become a customer. That would be like your welcome email that goes out, says, thank you so much for being a customer. I have a welcome video waiting for you, and it's inside of your new customer portal. And here's how you access it. Please go watch it. And I would make that available right away. Now, you could also put lots of good educational content inside of there. That is also content that you're going to make publicly available. YouTube videos, things like that. That's totally fine. And keep in mind, just because they're a customer doesn't mean they're going to be watching all your YouTube videos. And also, just because they're a customer doesn't mean that they're always going to be inside of their customer portal watching your videos. So having the content in multiple places, that educational content in particular, so that you can just try and make sure, hey, you're seeing this stuff, I hope, right? And sending that same content out in a newsletter. Hey, we just put in a new educational video on how to do effective follow-up marketing for a new lead. It's available inside your customer portal and our YouTube channel. Click here or here and go see it right now, right? So you should always assume that your content is going to get missed by the far majority of people and that you need to kind of push it into their hands, okay? That's why if I send an email to you guys saying I've got a new video, I send an email and then I send an email to the people who didn't open it. And, you keep on trying to get that distribution any which way that you can, okay? So I hope that helps you. Database reactivation is an inexpensive way to get quick wins. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Glad to be back. How do we join these videos? Oh man, you just join the videos by being here. You're here. If you're commenting, you've joined the video. There is a conversation link in there. So if you want to hit that to come on stage and chat with me, you can do that as well. Thoughts on GoHighLevel still in demand 2 to 3 years ago? I think you mean 2 to 3 years from now. And I think that HighLevel is going to be very in demand and very necessary for the far, far majority of small businesses who hope to compete 2 to 3 years from now. And there's the most obvious reason why is 2 to 3 years from now, one, AI is going to be freaking incredible. I think it's hard for us to even imagine the capabilities. But if you look at what has been successful so far with AI, there is still some interface component that needs to be there for you to get the full value out of it, depending on the problem that you're trying to solve, right? So ChatGPT could theoretically go and edit videos for you, but there are interfaces that people have designed that interact with ChatGPT's API that are specifically for here's how you edit videos most effectively with AI. And it just makes it dramatically easier then to edit videos using AI if I have that interface that's been designed for it. So theoretically, I think 2 to 3 years from now, AI will be able to do everything that we want a small business to do from a marketing perspective, pretty much on its own automatically. But in order to have that AI work for a chiropractor versus a plumber versus a restaurant, there's going to be some sort of interface that is going to say, hey, here's all the things about this business that we want worked on. It's all combined. It's all here. Go and do these things and tie them all together and write the content for the email and put it in there so that it's going to go out automatically next Tuesday, right? Like there's going to be an interface for that AI to work with to bring its power to life at that business. So I think that HighLevel is absolutely positioned better than any company by far to be that interface, to be that operating system that we log into, our customers log into, and we say, here are all the things that we want done. And AI is just infused throughout that to help us get that done. And I think it'll just become easier and easier. But that interface is critical. And so I think that, for the far majority of small businesses, it's going to be absolutely necessary for them to be competitive, or they're just going to get their butts kicked. And again, in theory, I mean, if you really knew what you were doing with AI 2 to 3 years from now, you could just say, hey, here's my business that I have, build me a system. And, an AI will just be able to build a system from scratch and then operate that system. But are most small businesses going to be thinking that way? Are they going to be investing in understanding the capabilities of AI to that level? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, the way I feel right now, though, honestly, it's like 30 years. I mean, 3 years from now might as well be 30 years from now. Like, stuff is happening so fast and things are developing so quickly. But clearly, to me, if there's something that I think is worth betting on, it's HighLevel. I think that it's just got a really unique position in the marketplace that is going to be incredibly powerful for a long time. Chuck says never use HighLevel. Okay, Chuck. Well, I hope my answer made sense for you. If we don't know GoHighLevel, what's the best approach to hire someone for a fast start? I would say 2 things to that, Chuck. Hire HighLevel. Have HighLevel go through their. They have a like a quick start onboarding package that they offer. Go through that with them. Go through all their training. And then, Chuck, even though you are not necessarily planning on being the person who turns all the, presses all the buttons and turns all the screws inside there every day, I would make sure that you are investing a good amount of time as a business owner and making sure you understand HighLevel. But then at this point, man, there are countless number of people that you can hire on an outsourced basis, freelance basis, whatever, from the HighLevel community. They're all in there. I mean, if you go into the HighLevel Facebook community and you make a post that says, hey, I'm looking to hire somebody part-time to help me out with managing my HighLevel, you get a flood of people that are going to offer that for you. It's a big marketplace now. I mean, HighLevel has tens of thousands of customers. So there's a lot of smart outsourcers out there that are now offering their services. So pretty stinking easy. How does recharge work when going through an affiliate? Assuming there's a markup, does that markup continue through to sub accounts? No. Wait. Hold on. How does it work when going through an affiliate? No. So I think you might be a little bit confused, or you're confusing me in the language that you're using. So if you sign up for HighLevel through me as an affiliate, I just get a percentage of your monthly charge. If you're on a $497 account, I get a percentage of that monthly charge. Okay. That percentage is set by HighLevel, and that just is what it is. Okay. If you then go sell customers onto your HighLevel, so you create sub accounts, so not new HighLevel accounts, where you're acting as an affiliate, you're actually setting out sub accounts. So regular mom and pop small businesses are now using sub accounts on your HighLevel. You control everything about the financials of those sub accounts, how much you're charging them per month, how much you're marking up all your resale services. All that is 100% controlled by you. Me as the affiliate who sold you onto HighLevel, I have no control of that, no visibility in that, no markup in that, no nothing. Okay? What is the least someone needs to know to sell GoHighLevel? What if a person lands a client and doesn't know how to build it out? David, you don't need to know anything to sell it, because you shouldn't be selling HighLevel. You should be selling marketing systems, marketing solutions. So if I were selling to a small business, I would never sell them HighLevel. I would sell them, hey, right now you have a terrible reputation and I can fix that by putting in place a review, capture, and publishing system that's going to give you control, right? Right now, I just called your business. Nobody picked up the phone. Nobody got back to me. That's probably happening 30 times a day. You're missing, 60% of your opportunities every day. I can fix that. So you need to understand the general capabilities of HighLevel and what you can bring to the fight now for that small business. But you don't need to understand any of the back end widgets of HighLevel to be able to do that. Now, I've got to say that requires you to have confidence that you can then deliver. And so if you are not going to be doing it, you need to have somebody that you can rely on to do it. There, as I just mentioned for Chuck, there's a million resources out there now. So you can have somebody help you with this, but I would find that person first. I wouldn't wait until, I had sold somebody. I'd go find them now and then get selling. And I like to tell the story of how I started my IT management company. Okay, I built a very successful IT management company over the course of 8 years and sold it at a successful exit. I cannot fix a computer or set up a network or any of that stuff if my life depended on it. I have no idea how to do any of those things. I knew that there was a problem. I knew that there was a need for a solution, and I knew that I could sell. And so I just put together what I thought were the service plans that would be attractive to small businesses and just got to selling. And that is what most of you should do. You shouldn't think that you have to be a HighLevel genius. The great thing about starting that IT business was that there was no hope that I was going to learn to fix computers and make that like part of my service delivery. I mean, that would especially back at that time take me years and study and certification and all this stuff to try and get to the point where I could actually be useful to a customer. That would make no sense. So as much as you can think of yourself as a business person and not as a technologist, the better off you are. So for me personally, get out and start selling today if you're able to do it. Just find somebody that can help you. When I started my IT management company, I literally hired a guy that still works with me to this day. And I said, hey man, look, sometime in the next 30 days, I'm going to make that phone ring with somebody who's got a computer problem. If you can't help them, we're out of business. So take care of it, right? That was literally our conversation. And I remember him just looking at me and just being like, who the hell is this guy? Like, what is he? Like, is he crazy? Because that was all the training I had for him. I was like, look, I can't train you on how to fix a computer. I hired you because you said you know how to fix computers. So fix computers, man. When somebody calls, that's what we got to do. That's our business. I'm responsible for making people call. You're responsible for taking care of them once they do. Thankfully, that worked. Lots of trial and error, and lots of us learning how we're working together, and lots of, Mike screwed up the packages he went out and pitched for the first year because I'm making up stuff on the fly and reacting to the feedback of the marketplace as I go. That's entrepreneurship 101. Right now, you have the benefit. I did not have this. I sound like a grandpa when I say this, but I did not have the benefit of anybody teaching me how to structure my service packages and stuff like that. That didn't exist back then. So you've got the benefit of me and many others telling you, like, here's how to do it. So you have an incredible head start. So just get out there and start selling, but find somebody who can help you, right? Find somebody who can help you as well. Tanvir, I don't have coaching. I don't have coaching. I have a paid community, a private paid community called Moguls. And I'd say the best bet for you is just go, if you want to, just go to servicesatscale.com. I believe it's /products. Just go look on our website. And then if you want to see really the thing that I point anybody who's a HighLevel customer that wants to work with me, just go to HLA /HLA. That's High Leverage Agency. That's my program. That is my complete program for you to work with me in building a business around HighLevel. And you will then get access to my private community. Okay. So that's where I would point you. But if you want to just look at generally the things that I have to offer, you can also just go right there. Okay, servicesatscale.com /products. If that URL isn't right for whatever reason, just go to my website. You'll see a tab for how to get to my stuff. Let's see. Do you recommend creating sub-brands for my services? No. Well, I'm sorry. When you say sub-brand, that to me just is a name. So to give your services a name, saying, hey, our ad services are called Ad Boost and our publishing content services are called Content Boost. Yes, I recommend you give them a name. I do not recommend that you go out and buy separate domains and launch separate websites and different logos, all that. No, you'll never, ever keep up with marketing all of that successfully individually. I mean, you're essentially saying, okay, now instead of marketing my one business, I'm going to market 5. Total nightmare. But give them names for sure. Chuck says, I hear it's 30 days to get Twilio GoHighLevel SMS number. What's the fastest way to speed up getting up with SMS? Also, I hear we need some privacy notice on the website. That is a bottleneck on getting approved. Yes, you should have a privacy statement. Everybody should have a privacy statement on their website. If you don't, you're literally at risk of getting sued. And so you should definitely do that. And that's very easy to solve. Go look at any major website and they will have privacy policies on there. You can just copy or just do a search for a privacy policy template. No problem. That's very easily solved. And yes, it takes time to get SMS approved because they don't want spammers. And that just is what it is. It's the same for everybody. So you don't need to get too tied up in knots about it. Everybody's doing it. Awesome. Good. Awesome. Put in your question. Happy to answer. Oh, I see it coming. Dawson says, should I live by myself in a fully furnished beach house 2 hours away from Toronto? Or should I live in a dumpy apartment with roommates 1 hour away from Toronto? Assumption, Toronto equals success. I would live as close to or right inside of Toronto. Yes. It's time to get after it, Dawson. It's not time to live at the beach, man. I'm sorry. You're young. You're hungry. If you were an old dude like me, if you were an old dog like me, then live on the beach. You're young, man. You need to build your empire. Okay. I'm still building my empire too, but I just happen to live near the beach because that's San Diego. But Toronto, get in the damn city. Okay. Get it done. And I got to tell you, Dawson, I live in North County, San Diego, which is, let's call it 20 minutes outside of downtown San Diego. That bothers me. I hate that I'm 20 minutes outside of the action. That's just 20 minutes I have to drive to get to the action. I love some of the communities that are even 10 or 15 minutes further north from me. Like San Diego's got amazing North County communities. I mean, maybe the best place to live in America. But I will not move to those places because it makes it even less likely that I will drive down to the action. You got to be in the action, man. It's still very important in today's world to be able to get in the action physically around other people. You mentioned Superman email as a key product. Will Sue be linkable with the future? I do not know. I don't know what that means. I mentioned Superhuman email. Superhuman is an email client that you can use to manage your own email. Yeah. Currently at 2.5K a month. Awesome. And I offer contractor, SaaS, website automations, everything. Awesome. Anyways, I know you spoke to the UpHex founder. I was thinking of adding that to my offer. Yeah, definitely check it out. I think UpHex is fantastic. So I would definitely check it out for sure. AT says, for those who niche locally, what advice do you have for us when walking into businesses in person? Also, when you're meeting for the first time, do you pitch your foot in the door or the full marketing system? Okay, good questions. Man, if you're doing door-to-door selling, wow, good man. That's old school. If I were doing that, here's the way I have done it in the past that's been very successful. What I do is I find another local business that I would like to support that typically has food. So some awesome local cookie shop. When I bought the company that I bought in Santa Monica, if you're familiar with Santa Monica, there's Diddy Reese cookies. Diddy Reese made these awesome cookies. They come in this little brown paper bag. People line up to get them. So what I would do is I would go pick up bags of Diddy Reese cookies, and we would put our business card and information with the bag, and we would walk into a business and we would just say, hey, this is Mike with Everon. We're just down the street from you. Just wanted to walk in and introduce ourselves. No hard pitch or anything like that. Just want to say hi. But I'll also let you know what we do is we manage, technology for small businesses like yours. If there's anything ever that we could help you with, we'd love the opportunity. Enjoy some cookies on us. Have a great day. Like, that was it. And some people would just be like, yeah, cool, thanks, get out of here, which I understand. But some people would be like, oh, that's so nice. Yeah, oh, cool. How, have you guys been here a long time? Or you'd have a little conversation and get going. But remember, the first rule, the first letter in VIP sales and marketing, which is my philosophy on sales and marketing, is value. Always add value. So I know a super smart entrepreneur here in San Diego. She's got an incredible events company. It's a wellness events company. And so what she does is she goes and picks up a bunch of fresh pressed juices from one of the juice shops here in San Diego. And so, that's in alignment with her brand because she has a wellness events company. And she goes into an office with her fresh pressed juices and does the same thing that we did with our cookies. In Boston, I did that with my grandma's coffee cakes of New England for years and years and years. People love those freaking coffee cakes, man. It was like drugs. And so that's what I've always done, AT, and it always worked really quite well. Much better than, I personally would never walk into an office without some offer like that. Because nobody wants you to walk in their office and pitch them, right? So also, when you're first meeting for the first time, do you pitch your foot in the door or a full marketing system? Almost always a foot in the door. But the way I do that, AT, is I have my elevator pitch. And I say, yeah, AT, what we do is we help chiropractors like you execute, complete and automated marketing systems to help them grow their business. And then they may say, well, what the heck does that mean? Right? If they're interested at all, like, what kind of systems are you talking about? That's a good question. We have an approach where we have identified that every chiropractor has these 6 core marketing functions that need to happen at their business, right? This, and this. So that's what our system does. It provides campaigns, automation, workflows, all those things to make sure that your marketing is happening consistently across those 6 functions. And then I would then ask them questions. I would say, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about how you currently marketing your chiropractic firm, and they would say this and that. That's cool. It sounds like out of our 6 functions, sounds like you're doing pretty good on these 2 functions. Sounds to me like maybe not so much on these 4 functions. Is that right? And I go, yeah, that's probably true. Great. So what we would do is we'd look at, maybe we would just provide those 4 functions because you're already crushing it on the 2. More often than not, we can help across all 6. And, and so that would be the start of the conversation. But very, very, almost never is there going to be a pitch right there, AT. So my foot in the door offer is not going to come then. My foot in the door offer is going to come once I've had some more conversations, some more understanding of what they need. And then I'm going to pitch what they need. The people who have affiliates don't get compensated on a percentage of usage. Yeah, exactly. Oh, nice. Wow. Lucadia in 1975. I bet you that was amazing. It's still amazing, but I bet you that felt like beach farm country then. Do you have a training that teaches how to build and scale the social media company you built there, San Diego? I do, Sonny, but it is not for sale right now. I took it off the market. While I decided what the heck I want to do with it. So, but I do, yes. What is this action you speak of? I bought some local jam yesterday, maybe on the right track. There you go, Dawson. Pitch what they need. Absolutely. Yes. Diagnose before you prescribe, right? Think of yourself as the doctor. If you go to the doctor, you don't want them to just start prescribing surgery and drugs until they've actually thoroughly diagnosed what the heck is wrong with you, right? So you want to take a very similar approach. Awesome. Any other questions? Fire them in. Any other questions? Let me know. Fire them on in there. Otherwise, we will start to wrap it up. It's Friday after all. You got to get out there and have some fun. I've actually got a super busy day. I'm excited about. I've got an old college roommate in visiting from out of town, so I'm going to get to go and visit with him for a little bit. And then we've got some great giveaways happening for there in San Diego right now. We're launching some new services through HighLevel, so we just got all kinds of stuff going on. We're cooking. My favorite band of all time, Rolling Stones, Guns N' Roses. I love Guns N' Roses, old school Guns N' Roses, so good. Yeah, probably one of those. I have high school age kids that want to build a social media company. Let me know if you want some collaborators on your social media training program. Awesome. Thank you. Cold call or cold voicemail campaign? Well, I would assume both. I would not do I would not do just voicemail drops, if that's what you mean, where all you're doing is just sending out voicemails. To me, it's just spam. It's just spam. I mean, if I looked at my phone right now, I have 184 unlistened to voicemails, and I will never listen to a single one of them. I will delete them all. The only reason why there's not 1,000 there is because the last time I deleted them and cleared it out, and now it's been a couple months, and now here they are again. Who in the world listens to unsolicited voicemails? I have no idea, but it is a super low percentage of success and a super high percentage of annoyance. Right? I mean, I would not want to invest in anything that's just annoying the shit out of the thousands of people I just blasted with my recorded voicemails. That's my personal opinion. But cold calling is just, I mean, damn near as annoying. But at least you have the opportunity to have a live conversation with a human being. But if you don't get a hold of somebody, you should, in almost all cases, leave a voicemail. You should be using a tool that will drop a pre-recorded voicemail for you, so you don't have to manually drop it. But at the end of the, ring, nobody picks up. Might as well leave the voicemail in almost all cases. I mean, why not? You've already called them anyway. So that's my 2 cents worth. I'm very opinionated about cold calling and stuff like that because I did it for years and years and years. I was very good at it, and its time has passed. I'm going all in. I'd love to start there, Topeka. Yes. I didn't know you were in Topeka, AT. I used to live in Topeka. My dad was stationed there for military. To build on your question, I want to do UpHacks for them as contractors. Don't really understand it. What offer would you recommend? Yeah, so what I would recommend, just like I recommend with any of this stuff, is that you offer a ad management system to your customers, and that ad management system includes ads, pre-structured campaigns, management of those campaigns to a degree, and you can figure that out with UpHacks. Those guys are great. They'll tell you exactly what degree to promise management versus not, and at what price points. Landing pages, follow-up sequences, all of the things that if you're going to be running paid ads, you need to optimize landing pages and you need follow-up sequences, or else why run the paid ads? You're just putting money down the drain, right? So offer that as a complete system, because now they're doing ads through you, but they're also using HighLevel through you to get the things that you're already talking about offering, right? It's a system. So the great thing about UpHacks is it is a system. They've done a very, very nice job of, you can create campaign structures for, especially since you're all contractors, you can create these campaign structures and just easily turn these things on for your customers and do almost nothing to it because it's all automated and rules-based and data-based and all that. and provide a very effective ad solution for them for, let's just call it $297 a month. But for that $297 a month, they're getting tremendous value and you're getting really high margins because it's just all automated. And I would say in that $297 a month, to be clear, that's not their ad budget. That's the fee that they're paying for access to your system. And then they are going to put whatever ad budget they want into that system. Okay. So whether they spend $400 a month or $1,000 a month, that's up to them on the ad budget to access your proven ad system for contractors. It's $297 a month or whatever price that you decide. It should be a nice low price, just like I recommend with HighLevel, so that they stick with it forever. One of the biggest mistakes, and this is why the whole ad management business for small business is a bunch of BS. Like when you hear people out there going, I can show you how to start an ad agency where you're charging small businesses $5,000 a month to manage their ads. It's complete BS. And I say it's complete BS. Are there some customers out there that will spend that money with you? Yes. 99% of small businesses are not going to pay you $5,000 a month to manage their ads. They're not even spending $1,000 on ads, right? If they have $1,000 ad budget, why in the world would they spend $5,000 or $2,500 with you to manage the ads? It's just stupid. They will never, ever, ever get an ROI on their $1,000 ad spend when they're spending triple that for your management fees, right? So that whole industry is a crock of shit. And I say that because there's so many people out there that will pitch it to you. The whole reason HighLevel is what it is because Sean initially had all of those lead generation agencies as customers, and he saw that they were all churning their customers every 3 months. And that's why he transitioned HighLevel into being a systems-based platform that was, had all these broad capabilities, because he was like, this agency model where you're trying to do high ticket does not work. Those businesses are all going broke. And that's the case. And it's always been the case. So with UpHacks and with HighLevel, you can offer 90% of the value of somebody doing management for 1/10 of the cost. And that's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be. So sounds like you got it. Awesome. Yes, exactly. You're just scared of the high churn. That's exactly right. And that's because of the way that they structure their pricing and their services. Don't do that, or you'll have high churn too. You will not beat that problem. I'm trying to set up HighLevel and game plan for the next couple of weeks. I'm currently living in Dominican Republic. Do you think I can sell to US-based business owners from here? Yeah, you can. Is it going to be harder? It's going to be harder on the service delivery side until you're real comfortable, because you've got to deliver everything 100% remotely. That's totally fine. That's the way I would do it. I mean, I've always sold nationwide, just 100% over the phone, over Zoom and stuff like that, and you can do it, no problem. It's most people find it a little more challenging just mentally. The fact that somebody's a country away instead of down the street. There's a comfort level with, that business is just down the street. I could always go and just meet with them if I needed to, take them out to coffee, right? That gives people a comfort level. Honestly, it's a false comfort, really. So yes, you should be perfectly fine. Awesome. All good questions, everybody. Good conversation. I appreciate it. Starting over from zero, how long would you expect for someone to get to 2K a month consistently? I mean, does that person know how to sell? That's the only thing that matters. If you know how to sell, I'd get to 2K a month in 60 days with zero problem at all. But if you don't know how to sell, it could take longer than that. If you do know how to sell, you could blow right through that number. In 90 days, could I get to, 10K a month? Yeah. So if you know how to sell, no sweat. And I say 60 days because there's sales cycle. You gotta, I mean, I'm assuming if you start selling on day one, you know, you're gonna find some prospects. Then, you know, some of those prospects are gonna take weeks to have meetings with you and all that. So it's very unrealistic to make anything happen shorter than 60 days. But to get to 2K a month, I mean, if you got one new customer a month, you could get to 2K a month just in the startup fees, right? I mean, that should be pretty darn quick. Thank you so much, Julio. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. I enjoy working with you guys, and I appreciate you being a part of my community. All right, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here on Office Hours with me. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me your time and attention. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope you have a great weekend. Have some fun. Maybe get some work done as well, though. It's always fun to build the empire. So we will have office hours. Let's see here. Next week, I don't know if I'm going to have an office hours. I'm visiting my daughter in Savannah, Georgia. And so I'm not sure that I'm going to have one, but otherwise, we typically have them every week. And in between calls, you can post questions in our online community, and myself or my team will get back to you there. Okay. So thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, AT. Thank you, Chuck. Always appreciate you guys. Thank you, Julio. AT, or I already said AT. Thank you. You guys have a great Friday, great weekend, and we will see you on a future call. Okay, everybody? Take care. Bye-bye.